people that have gone through the program have a greater appreciation for what it means to be in this community and the commitment and the responsibility to be here. So that's leading, it's serving, it's giving back. It's helping, it's taking a phone call from another alumni or someone that's in a current class to mentor them up. And I really do consider our 2,100 member family, like it's a family of people. I did the program in 2015, stayed connected, and I'm just so proud to be a part of the chamber running and overseeing this program now.
Welcome back to In Good Company with the Greater Raleigh Chamber. One of the most meaningful ways that the Raleigh Chamber strengthens our region is by investing in people, developing leaders who understand not just their own organization, but the systems, the relationships, and the challenges shaping Greater Raleigh. Now, today we're taking a closer look at the Chamber's 2 leadership development programs with a focus on Leadership Raleigh, the Chamber's flagship leadership program for established professionals, as well as Emerging Leaders, a smaller program designed to support professionals earlier on in their careers. I'm joined today by Shana Overdorf, Vice President of Leadership Development at the Greater Raleigh Chamber, who oversees both programs, and Michael Coleman, Associate Vice President at Wake Tech Community College and a graduate of Leadership Raleigh. Now, together, we'll be talking about how these programs work, why leadership development matters right now, and how they're helping build a stronger, more connected region. Welcome to the podcast. How are you both this morning?
Doing well.
Doing well. Thank you.
Awesome. So I'm going to kick it off with you, Shana. You oversee both of these programs. How do these programs fit together within the Chamber's broader approach to leadership development?
I think it's really easy to say that leadership development is essential when we focus on quality of life, economic growth and development. And really with the Chamber, we're so focused on ensuring that our members have success. It's an intentional way to connect them to issues, to places, and to people to further that mission.
I love it. I'm a chief people officer. That's like my nature by work. So whenever we are talking about leadership development, especially in people early on in their careers, I'm just here for it. It's chef's kiss. So I would love to start with the big dog, the Leadership Raleigh program. And for anyone who might not be familiar with what it is, how do you describe the program and its purpose within the Chamber?
Yeah, our elevator pitch is really, it's a 10-month program. So it's application-based. We run 10 months out of the year, and it's more than what people perceive as a field trip. It's immersive tours. It's behind the scenes. It's the ability to sit in a setting like this and have conversations that are intimate, that are engaging, and that are essential to the growth of our city. Another component of that is civic engagement. So it is our responsibility at the Chamber to ensure that people continue to have a high quality of life. And to do that, we partner with a couple dozen nonprofits every year to do good. And we measure impact by those benefited, the dollars raised, and then people that then continue to serve in a board capacity, an appointment capacity, or in some other leadership capacity as a result of participating in the program.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And then Michael, you as the Associate Vice President at Wake Tech Community College, what drew you to apply to Leadership Raleigh?
Yeah, absolutely. So Wake Tech does an amazing job of having a culture of developing leaders. And someone that was fairly new to the organization as well as the area, it was brought to me of, hey, this is a really great opportunity. You have these leadership qualities, skills. This is a great way to enhance those, but also get to know your community. I had also shared that I really enjoy learning from leaders, not just in higher ed, but in other industries. And they were like, this was a perfect match. And so I applied and had the really great fortune to be part of Leadership Raleigh. And, what I was hoping to get out of it was just that connection, learning more about the area, leaders, different trends, but I got so much more, and it was just an amazing experience for me that really became a launch pad for me in my leadership development.
What was one of your most favorite experiences that you've had?
Yeah, so there were quite a few, the economic growth and development, as well as quality of life. Those are two that come top of mind for me because it allowed the opportunity to see how leaders and businesses work with the Chamber to forecast the economic growth of the area, but also what they do to bring in talent, the different things that they do to also retain it. Yes. So that was an opportunity for me to really look at how can I, as a leader in my organization, as we bring in talent, retain it, but use the area as a backdrop, use the different resources and the things that are available here. So it was just worthwhile, and again, became that launch pad for me.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And shameless plug, we did a podcast episode with the leaders from the economic development team. And so if you want to learn more about that, I encourage everyone who's listening, dial it back, check out that podcast episode because it really is so fascinating. All right, Shana, Leadership Raleigh, it's known for giving its participants that behind-the-scenes look. And you kind of alluded a little to it in the beginning. You said there's tours, there's all these things. But how is the program designed to expose leaders to the key issues, the institutions, and the communities that are shaping the Greater Raleigh area?
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time when we're cultivating the content for the program to be really intentional. So each month has a theme, and the themes are laid out in a way that makes sense to me. And it doesn't often make sense to the participants until they're going through many of the months of the program. And what we try to do is look at the big issues that are facing the community right now. What are some of the big projects or some of the things that are been bubbling up that we want to make sure that we're highlighting? So not only do we do a hard hat tour, but it's really important to focus how many people are employed through that project that then is going to be developed in our community, right? So it's the people from the ground up that make that project possible, and then the people that will live in that building or work in that space. So it's impact. So it's all about that talent pipeline through education, through economic growth and development. So that's really important for people to be able to see. It's a lot of fun. But at the same time, it's also really intentional around things like that. So this month we do have Kyle and Michael talking. We also have Bill King talking with the state of downtown Raleigh. So giving a lot of focus to the issues that really are happening versus what people are hearing on the media or people who perceive they know what's happening. So you have the local expert that's spending an hour with you, that you have the one-on-one or a group of 50 people, in the case of Leadership Raleigh, to have conversations to learn the truth and learn ways to engage your companies or yourself civically.
Fascinating. Now, Michael, we talked a bit about one of your favorite experiences, but what I want to know is, during your time with Leadership Raleigh, was there anything that really shifted how you think about this region or your role as a leader within it?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, going back to just hearing from leaders across industries, having some of that behind the scenes, just allowed the opportunity to say, you know what, there is so much potential that we're not even tapping into. But then also just being able to build that network, which I call the life net of Leadership Raleigh. I mean, there's so many people that have gone through the program that you get introduced to, that you get to learn from. Also working as groups within Leadership Raleigh to support a nonprofit, whether it's impacting work that they're doing or supporting a project. I learned so much from my classmates, taking little nuggets here and there, how they take notes, how they're organized, listening to the questions that they ask, just being a sponge and soaking it all in, leaning into the experience has really helped me grow as a leader. But then also, again, that life net, being able to have so many people that I'm able to connect with and to continue to learn from.
Yeah, I always think it's so impactful when you can step outside of the bubble that you live in. And I'm sure Wake Tech Community College, I mean, it's huge, but being exposed to different companies and different industries and their ways of thinking just adds such value to your leadership skills.
Absolutely. It goes back into, pulling from different trends and just learning how you can build your own culture from the little nuggets that you learn from all these leaders across the area. And it's just, again, such a worthwhile program.
Oh, it makes my little HR heart so happy.
I know. Well, and I'll just add really quickly, I think one of the greatest things about Leadership Raleigh, it's a program that was founded in 1970. So we just celebrated turning 55 this year. Wow. And we raised close to $55,000 for that one event. And that's a testament to this program and the legacy that we've created, where exactly what Mike just said is people that have gone through the program have a greater appreciation for what it means to be in this community and the commitment and the responsibility to be here. So that's leading, it's serving, it's giving back, it's helping, it's taking a phone call from another alumni or someone that's in a current class to mentor them up. And I really do consider our 2,100 member family. Like, it's a family of people. I did the program in 2015, stayed connected, and I'm just so proud to be a part of the chamber running and overseeing this program now.
Oh, I love that. And,
there's a lot of emotion. And
no,
something
I know, it's
that
great.
you wouldn't think there would be emotion, but it really is something that's truly important, where we're building a community of care.
I love that. I love that, especially in today's world where everybody is so disconnected, to have those people that you can count on right here in your backyard. It's a game changer. And that kind of leads me to my next question, because I want to talk about these cross-sector cohorts, right? And that's one of the greatest strengths, I think, that Leadership Raleigh has. Why is it important for leaders from different industries and backgrounds to learn alongside one another?
So we have to know what we know, and we don't know what we don't. I mean, I think it's really just that simple. So it's not, there's no rocket science there. But I think there's something to be said about sharing an experiential experience with 50 other people. And in that collective moment, only you all know what you're experiencing. Mm-hmm. So there could be this pearl of wisdom. There could be this shared vulnerability. There could be this testament. So when you're sitting in a room with Marshall Adams David, our city manager, and you get to hear about her leadership journey, it also helps people resonate with the fact that leadership is not linear for most people. Most of us have started in one area and have grown and developed into a different area, and that's okay. And reminding people that taking bold risks is important, but I think it just can't be underscored to understand different perspectives, because solutions come from those varied backgrounds. So if you only see it through one lens, you're not going to be able to really fully see it for the entire community, and there will always be a loss.
I love embracing this leadership is not linear, because we're all told that, like, you just climb the ladder one rung at a time, but sometimes it's a lateral step. Sometimes it's a back step so that you can slingshot forward. Yeah. Now, Michael, how have you applied what you've learned in this program to your work at Wake Tech, to your broader community in general? Yeah.
Having that opportunity to just hear from the different leaders, hear about what's happening. There are a lot of times where we may say, you know what, maybe I won't do this right now, or maybe I'll wait till I have that degree or certificate, or maybe I feel like I don't look the part or sound the part. What I took was allowing that courage inside to show, letting it out, hearing from leaders of their path. Of a lot of times, you may have a small idea, and allowing that to develop, because that can impact your organization, your community. So for me, again, just being that launch pad for me, it was stepping out, sometimes out of that comfort zone, being courageous, because a lot of times that will assist with the development of that culture, extending that culture of care. And so for me, that's how I've applied it. And again, just using everything that I've learned, experienced, that knowledge of the different resources we have in our community, the wonderful things of being able to live and work in this area, to spread that to my team, for that quality of life, and just making sure that they feel that as well.
Yes, I love that. And guess what? Growth always happens just outside of that comfort zone. So I love that this program is pushing you in those ways. Now, I've got a follow-up for you, because I know that you are now giving back to the program because you yourself are a coach within it. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So being able to come back and be asked to be a class coach has been one of the highlights of my professional career. And it actually goes back to the person that was my class coach. He was an amazing person and really shouted, leaning into the experience. And so I've taken that. And for me, I had an amazing experience with Leadership Raleigh. And so it's how do you pay it forward and enhance the next class, making sure that they have an even better experience, right? Making sure that they're connected. Also helping the Chambers team with developing that content, seeing different things that you can tweak, day of, making sure everyone has what they need for the class day, but also helping the class with their projects, trying to help them move things along. Whenever there's a roadblock, hey, here's some experience that we have. This is how we can, support you, and just making sure that they stay connected with Leadership Raleigh. Again, that life net is so powerful, and being able to have a conversation with someone and learn that they're part of Leadership Raleigh is just amazing. So this has been just an amazing experience for me, and I still get to come off the bench here and there to sub as a coach when someone may not be available. So I get to stay connected to the program as well as the chamber.
Oh, I love that. That's incredible.
We consider Mike the coach's coach. So every year when I bring coaches in, I invite Mike to sit down with us to do their pre-orientation. And he's developed a guide, and he's been just an incredible friend and asset to the program.
Oh, that's so wonderful. All right, I'm going to take a left turn here, and I want to talk about emerging leaders.
Yes.
And this is the program which serves professionals who are earlier on in their career. How does that program complement Leadership Raleigh, and who is it best suited for?
You know, one of the things I've found coming out of the pandemic is age really isn't a determining factor anymore. So it had been, we have our Young Professionals Network, we had Emerging Leaders and Leadership Raleigh, and it really was more age-centric. And what we find now is people have changed industries post-pandemic. They have taken different roles. And so I have folks in their 20s to their 60s in both programs. And it really comes down to the content of their application and really when the time is right for them. So you can tell based off the questions and the responses they provide where they are and if it's a good fit. So I really love when I have more seasoned people in the program, because I think that's also really encouraging for the younger folks that are still finding their footing and have the same questions as someone that they see as older and that maybe they would perceive to have the answers. So I think, again, there's a lot of intergenerational learning opportunity there, cross-sector. And so it really is a great representation of the community as far as industry, gender. We're having more women participate, and that's really important to me because diversity of thought comes from a lot of different ways. So Emerging Leaders is unique in the fact that that was founded in 2011 and took a hiatus during the pandemic and then was brought back afterwards. There are just over 400 alumni for that. So it's a smaller cohort of people. But what we find is after 7 or 8 sessions together, having an experience kind of like this, where you've got 20 people in a room with a leader being able to ask really intimate questions in the way about what was the boldest thing that you did? What was the biggest risk? What's your advice? What book's on your nightstand? How do you manage up, manage out, manage down? Those types of things where you might not feel you have the opportunity to do that in your work environment, but you have a safe place to do that. So with both programs, it's really important that there's a bubble of trust. That is my expectation that's clearly articulated, that it is not to be talked about outside of the confines of the program without someone else's permission. So people feel that sense of security and safety and care.
Oh, that's so important these days. And it's hard to find inside your own organization. So I love that you can kind of step out and step into these leadership programs and get that security and get that support. So that's incredible. Okay, Shana, if you're looking across both programs, what does leadership success look like to you? And what do you hope that participants walk away from the program with?
Yeah, I think with both programs, I'm not afraid to have uncomfortable conversations. And I say that a lot. We do things about privilege. We do things, we work with the Junior League and we do a poverty simulation every year. We go to different places where people are uncomfortable. And I tell folks it's okay to pause in that discomfort, but there's a reason why you're uncomfortable. Think about it. Let's not talk about it right now. Let's talk about it later. For me, success is when there's one pearl. For one person across those 10 months where they've gotten something new that they would not have gotten without those programs. Or with Emerging Leaders, I am seeing people after 7 or 8 sessions feel more confident. They leave with a different sense of self in the fact that they know what they want to advocate for, how they're going to approach their job differently. With Emerging Leaders, we do the Enneagram. So fun. I love that. That's new. We had done the Strengths Finders. It's helping people have tools to help them better interact with teams, to lead teams, to understand what they need to be successful, which is most important to me. And then with Leadership Raleigh, we bring in John Grinnell with Grinnell Leadership and do a couple-hour session with him where we really break down barriers very quickly. And again, it's where that trust starts to get formed because we go through an activity that you're not allowed to talk about outside of the program. And on day 2, we follow that with another team exercise that we don't talk about outside of the program either. But once you're an alumni, it's this well-known fact. I think, for me, back to what you originally asked that I didn't answer, is success is having people walk away with something they didn't have in the beginning, whether it's a new friend, whether it's a new job. We always have people have babies. We always have people change jobs. We have loss. We experience life together in the span of these programs. So success for me is not only that, having that new network of people or family, but it's also the fact that it is my expectation that people give back. So civic rent is a real thing. People have a high quality of life here in Raleigh and Wake County in this region, and it is our responsibility to maintain that. So I'm very clear. My expectation is that I expect to see people serving in any capacity moving forward and encouraging their companies to understand how to do a group activity or something like that. And one of the things that will be coming out of this year is I am collecting ways for people to join boards. So people are reaching out to me all the time to identify board members. I am going to be collecting that from this year's class moving forward and helping to kind of make some matches.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
Shana, how does someone get involved in either Emerging Leaders or Leadership Raleigh?
Yeah, the first thing I'd encourage people to do is if they haven't already subscribed to receive chamber emails, to do that. So you just go to the Raleigh Chamber's website, top right corner, subscribe, and then you can start to receive those. But we will also have information posted on our website. We run 3 cohorts for Emerging Leaders, and so those are typically announced about 2 months before each time the program is going to start, and they run about 8 weeks. And then with Leadership Raleigh, we do information sessions in March. We'll open up the application in April. They'll be due in June, and we'll make selections by July 4 to kick off the program again with an local orientation in August, out-of-town retreat in September in Wilmington, and then classes start in October.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, for someone who might be considering this program, either Leadership Raleigh or Emerging Leaders, what would you tell them about the value of committing the time to one of these programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to spend a day a month on a class day out in the community, connecting with your classmates, but also, learning. You'll also probably spend an hour here and there a week working with your groups on those projects. But you're going to get so much more, whether it's behind the scenes of a restaurant in the kitchen, learning from the chef, or visiting a construction site that is going to impact the community, or even seeing a high-speed car chase, right? You are going to get so much more than that time that's put in. It is so worth it. Also, if you're interested, I know that there are information sessions. There's great information on the website. There's tons of alums around the area that are really great value to connect with. But more importantly, if you do get into the program, lean into that experience. It is, again, for me, it changed my trajectory. It is an opportunity to connect with people, to have that life net, and just, really understand what it means to live and work and play here.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. I absolutely love that. Leadership today doesn't happen in isolation. And as we heard today, programs like Leadership Raleigh and Emerging Leaders are all about building perspective, connection, and shared communities to this region's future. Thank you, Shana Overdorf, and thank you, Michael Coleman, for sharing your experiences and your insights, and for the work that you're doing to really help the leaders who are ready to step forward, who are ready to collaborate and make an impact in the Greater Raleigh area. And thank you for listening to In Good Company with the Greater Raleigh Chamber. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review so that you don't miss the next conversation, all about exploring the people, the programs, and the ideas shaping our future. We'll see you next time.
And now, to wrap up today's episode on leadership, we're bringing you another Mimi's Member Moment, where we spotlight chamber members who are actively shaping our community. Today, I'm joined by someone who embodies what leadership development looks like in action. Terrell Midgett, founder of Raleigh Raised Development and a proud graduate of Leadership Raleigh, is with us to talk about how the program influenced his path and how his work is contributing to the growth and vibrancy of our region. Terrell, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Mimi.
Absolutely. So you are a Leadership Raleigh alum. What initially inspired you to apply for the program?
Oh, man, I met Shana at an event, and we had some conversations about joining the chamber. And once I got in the chamber, I wanted to understand more of the, what Leadership Raleigh was.
Yeah.
And so I joined Leadership Raleigh to kind of see how to navigate and kind of network with the community. And it was the best decision of my life.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Yeah.
And honestly, if anyone's met Shana, she is very bubbly and convincing too. So I'm sure it wasn't a hard conversation to have. And that's so great that you joined the chamber first and then wanted to get even more involved.
Yes. Definitely.
I'd love to hear more about why it was the best decision of your life. Looking back, what part of the Leadership Raleigh experience had the biggest impact on you, personally or professionally?
I just think the network, just camaraderie with other peers and people that's been in my kind of somewhat in my network in my field.
Yeah.
That I've always seen on emails and but being able to be tangible and have conversations, lunch and socials and just being able to build with them. I think it was definitely a plus for.
Yeah, they're kind
business.
of like on the periphery of your industry or in your online, presence. And it was so nice to kind of make face to face and make those connections.
Definitely.
And there's like over 50 people in a class. Is that right?
Yes.
So that's a huge addition to your network, which is so awesome.
Definitely.
And those connections, do you think had a big impact personally, or do you think it more so impacted your professional experience, or was it both?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Actually, this week, probably every week I meet someone that was in my class, and so we're doing some type of collaboration.
Yeah.
And if it's real estate or just personal, we have some events coming up personal that our families still merge together. So. We became not only colleagues, but family.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, so how long ago did you graduate?
I graduated last year. I was Leadership Raleigh 50.
Okay. Oh, the big 50. Okay,
big
that's
50,
awesome.
Yeah.
And so since that year, you've really been able to continue those relationships.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
That's so cool. Were there any sessions or site visits or, like you just talked about, relationships from Leadership Raleigh that stick out, that influence the way you think about community development or your career path?
I just think the biggest thing, most humbling was the simulation exercise, poverty simulation exercise. Just being able to put yourself in a situation whereas you have limited resources and having to tap into Raleigh's, ecosystem of like public housing or transportation or just limited resources, and then just being able to have it navigate and just the stresses of every day. So everything that I do, I keep that in my mindset so I can make sure that I can navigate, these communities a lot better.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had the opportunity to volunteer, I think, at 48's simulation as one of the community workers. Yeah. And I feel that if you're trying to make a huge impact, you have to know how everyone is operating and living in our area. It can't just be one side of the coin, right? And so that was such a cool experience. And, also just impactful. You really see what people need to do to make it in life.
and just interactions. A lot of times is being able to just be delicate with people in certain situations because you don't know what they're dealing with.
Absolutely.
That 2 hours of us just doing assimilation is just the stress level was just very high.
Yeah.
And so just being able to be delicate and just deal with people and just help navigate through certain situations.
Yeah. It really does give you the hustle and bustle of the city, truly.
Truly.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Tell us about Raleigh Ray's development, your business. What inspired you to start the company, and what problems or opportunities are you working to address?
Well, it goes way back. So my company's I started my company with two other friends.
Okay.
We grew up together.
Oh, that's good.
One is the head basketball coach at North Carolina Central, and the other is Clarence Mann. He's a little younger than us, but all of us grew up in the Raleigh Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, great.
And so once we got into our professional careers, my career has mostly been facility maintenance. Mm-hmm. CJ went off to college, got his master's in urban planning and general contractor. And, of course, Lavelle is a college coach.
Yeah.
And we sort of forever changing community that we grew up in, and we wanted to be able to be a part to kind of buy back the block and be able to provide opportunities, some affordable opportunities in the neighborhoods that we grew up in.
Yeah, that's so cool. So I have a feeling you're a humble guy, but if you take a step back and really recognize the difference you've made, what's the coolest project or difference that you've made in the community that you grew up in?
I think, me and my partners always give back.
Yeah.
But in the last 5 years, we probably have close to on the books, and they haven't all been built out, but close to about 1,100 units.
Oh, wow.
And that's mixed income, and just being able to put someone in the house and some keys, somebody comfortable, just being able to shape the community. I mean, you're looking at, being in Leadership Raleigh and being able to listen to the guys, and they say 77 new people moving in Wake County every day.
Yeah.
Or 2 classrooms of kids are born in every day.
Oh my
and
goodness.
so being a developer, you listen to that, and then you're trying to figure out, well, if we have these issues going on, how can I play a major role? And so it goes back to my classmates and other alum being able to collaborate and say, hey, we have these schools coming up, and then there's an ever-changing city. There's no more land, and how do we keep this thing affordable?
Right.
So it's no different from a luxury building. It's no different from building a luxury townhome and affordable, because 2x4 is the same price.
Exactly.
So a lot of discount has to be pretty much in the land.
Yeah.
And so we tap on to our alumni who may be in the philanthropic world and the municipalities. And I think the chamber does a great job with pulling us all together.
How did your time in Leadership Raleigh help shape your approach to building and leading your business?
In the past, I've been able to be kind of proximity, and I didn't know collaboration.
Yes.
And so Leadership Raleigh allowed me to learn collaboration.
Oh, that's great.
A city that I grew up in, I felt I knew everything about the city until I joined Leadership Raleigh. And there's so much I didn't know.
Yeah, and so it just kind of exposed you to all the things that you hadn't been privy to before.
Yes.
Got it. So this is our last question. Unfortunately, I want to talk to you forever, and we'll chat afterwards. But where can listeners learn more about Raleigh Raised Development or connect with you?
Yeah, so our website is www.raleighraisdevelopment.com.
Okay.
And we're on Facebook and Instagram as the same handle, Raleigh Raised Development.
Perfect. Raleigh Raised Development.
Yes.
Well, Terrell, thank you for sharing your Leadership Raleigh experience and the work you're doing through Raleigh Raised Development. Stories like yours show how leadership development strengthens our entire community. And thank you to our listeners for joining us for this episode of In Good Company. We appreciate you tuning in and hope you'll join us again next time.
Thanks for listening to In Good Company with the Greater Raleigh Chamber. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. If you enjoyed today's show, please leave us a 5-star review and share it with your network. Keep tuning in for more insights on the Chamber's programs, events, and members, and visit raleighchamber.org for info and to register for the Chamber's upcoming events.